On the show this week, Cat and Joelle give their first vibes on Dragon Age the Veilguard, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and Pokémon TCGP instant release success. And the new beefy Stardew Valley 1.6 update is finally out on console and mobile. Plus, the crew guess what game released on November 8th, 2019. All of this and more on the GoGCast, starting right now.
Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast. Your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Welcome to another Girls on Games podcast. My name is Leah. I'm the host of this show. This is episode number 470, and today around the digital table, I got my girls. Let's go. Catherine, what's up?
Hello. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. Joelle, how are you?
Hey, y'all. Saying hello from the great state of Texas.
Hey. You? Literally, are you going to be in Texas on vote day?
Yes.
Because we're recording this on Monday. Tomorrow is the election.
Oh boy. Yeah, I voted early. I did my patriotic duty, and I voted really early. Took like 5 minutes. It was really slick, and got that off my plate. And yeah, I'm gonna be, I don't know, might try to bury my head in the sand for the next 36 hours. I'm not sure. I don't know if I really want to wake up on Wednesday. We'll see what all happens. Keeping my fingers and toes crossed that we all make it out at the appropriate space that we should be all making it out. But
yeah. The daytime is going to be fine. I think it's going to be interesting later in the evening. As 7 o'clock Eastern rolls on, or 9 o'clock, I think polls start to close and things like that.
Yeah.
The reason I know these things is because we cover stuff on the news talk stations, and also I just somehow accidentally turned on a YouTube video that I was watching and I was learning. Before we were doing this podcast, I was trying to make my audio sound better and not have the issues that I've been having because, for those of you that don't know behind the scenes, for some reason, my professionally recorded audio has not been syncing properly for Simon. We don't really know why, so I've been doing a lot of testing and stuff, but I was on YouTube watching videos of how to make your voice sound better when recording for podcasts and narration and all that kind of stuff. And I just turned that on and had some really deep, soothing voice yell in my ear, and it was very distracting. But anyways, election. I mean, we can talk about other things, like video games. First, let's get into some housekeeping. Let's do that. If you enjoy this show, you can subscribe. We're available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. If you'd like to get some GOG merch, you can do that by going to designedbyhumans.com/shop/girlsongames. Maybe you'd like to give us a tip, maybe buy us a coffee. You can do that by going to our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/girlsongames. Ladies, time for the crew check-in. Catherine, what have you been up to this week?
Well, as I said last week, I went to a murder mystery soiree.
Oh, right, updates.
At Simon's place. I used bright pink eyeshadow to look really gaudy, to look like a lady who thinks she's the next Renée Angélil. And it stained my eyelids.
Oh no.
Was it like good eyeshadow or old eyeshadow or like Halloween makeup? So not the greatest.
I'm sorry.
Eyeshadow?
I know they were canceled, but I still have it. I have the palette by Jeffree Star and what's his face?
Right.
The
you have like the what is it? The conspiracy palette?
Yeah. And there's one that's called like Trisha for Trisha Paytas, and it's just a hot Barbie pink. I've never used this eyeshadow in my fucking life. And I was just like, today's the day. So there's like, in this palette, there's like a burgundy and that hot pink. And I did that to do a smoky eye, but I purposely did a bad one. Okay. Like, like somebody that's half listened to a YouTube tutorial and went with it, right?
Straight out of the 80s.
Yeah, and honestly, they use for their red shades, I can confirm that they use cadmium because that shit stains. I've used cadmium paints going to school, and they would always stain my fingers, or my hands if they got, or can't get it out of your clothes. So yeah, I had pink eyelids for all of the weekend. But the actual event was fun. It had like little scripts, and if somebody asks you a question, they would give you like something you can answer or like to know your characters. And a spoiler, I was the murderer. But
Ooh.
And everybody got it by the end. It was very obvious. Like as this thing was going down, I was like, everybody's going to point at me. And I tried to be like, no, it's the groupie. And everybody was like, it's the fucking
Who
agent.
died?
A backup singer
Okay.
Oh.
that was entangled with the lead, the rock artist. So they got in a thing. And I couldn't buy her silence.
Damn it.
She had to go.
But it was really fun. It was very funny. They had a lot of nods to a lot of Quebec culture and Quebec music. Like the singer, his name was Steve Lemieux, but he started singing in English, and for his English career, he called himself Steve the Best. Lemieux the Best.
Amazing.
It never
Love it.
dawned on me that Lemieux was the best. Ah, that's funny.
Anyway.
Why did that not dawn on me before?
And even then, it's like I read the thing that said those things. I didn't catch it until Pascal was playing the rocker, until he said it out loud doing his intro, reading out loud his intro, and I was like, oh, it's like Jean Leloup, John the Wolf. He's a singer. They used to do that joke, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh. Anyway, it was great fun. They said it was hard to find like a murder mystery that's just for like 6 people, because apparently usually you make them with a lot of people. So maybe next year we could organize something bigger. But it was fun. I had an impromptu brunch invite for the next day because a friend from Ottawa was in town. She works for the government, and she had a posting of like 4 or 5 years in New Zealand. So she had a friend from New Zealand visit her because he's doing a 3-month thing at Yale in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And he has family in Toronto. So he's so because he's on the continent, he's like doing a tour of his friends that live in the US and Canada. So he's staying with her in Ottawa, but they did a day trip to Montreal because like on his bucket list was having brunch in the Old Port. So I had an impromptu brunch in the Old Port. We went to a place, shout out to my friend Uva, who worked in the Old Port for a while. So she actually had suggestions because I avoid that place because it's too touristy for me.
Yeah.
We went to a place called Holder. They do brunch on weekends. It was delicious. And there was no lineup. That's all that matters.
That's saying something, because not going to lie, it is borderline impossible to find a spot at a breakfast joint on the weekends in Montreal, especially downtown.
No, this was good. It was not cheap, so I figure like a lot of people that are just there for like a weekend brunch will go to like Chez Cora or Extra or whatever name breakfast place that has a pun with the word egg in it.
Expectations.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Because I got to talk about 8. As I was sitting there explaining to them why I had pink eyelids, an omelet with goat cheese and roasted tomatoes.
Yum.
And on the side, there was dauphinoise, like the thin, creamy potatoes. And it came with 2 pieces of like sour bread toast and homemade jam. It was amazing.
That sounds good.
And I still think about that omelet. I'm not going to lie. It was all wonderful. My friend had a like a baked platter that had like a poached eggs, mushroom, spinach, and it came with a hollandaise sauce. It was the best hollandaise we've had. It was like almost whipped. It was like foamy.
Ooh.
I know, like instead of being creamy, they like had whipped it almost like it was airy. So I don't know if they like refolded in the egg whites after. I don't know what they did to that sauce. It was amazing. So, but it was like $20 to $25 a plate for breakfast. You know, that's the old port. It's fancy. Like we show up, the person sitting us is in a full suit. Like he was very handsome and everything, but we're showing up for breakfast. Like I wore like a clean pair of jeans and a nice sweater because it was cold outside.
I like how you specified like a clean pair of jeans.
Yes.
That was really important.
As opposed to a dirty pair of jeans.
Sometimes the weekend you wear whatever passes the sniff test, right?
Right. Because laundry day is Sunday.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but no, I also make clean in the sense not the, you know, like the nice dark wash denim. Because I didn't know how people were going to be dressed. Everybody in the restaurant was kind of dressed casual-ish. But like when you show up for breakfast and the person sitting you is in like in a 3-piece suit, I was like, God damn, how expensive is this breakfast going to be? But at the same time, like $20 to $25 a plate is not that much more expensive than some of the breakfast places around here that just serve you like fucking toast and bacon.
Yeah.
So anyways, and that was the gist of it. And it took me, because of all of this, it took me until Saturday night that I finally got to play Dragon Age.
Okay.
Because it was just like, it came out, and then we had like, I think I played a bit the night it came out. I made my character the night it came out, and that took an hour. And then I didn't get to play until like this weekend. And then Sunday, I got up, went to the gym, came home, showered, had lunch, and then I played. And I stopped to make dinner, and I had dinner, and after dinner, and I played, and I stopped to go to bed.
We'll get into that. I'm really curious to see what you ended up thinking of it so far. Joelle, you're obviously on a road trip. How has that been going?
Pretty good, actually. But I don't really have any like complaints. Like it's been really great. Have my first experience doing a long distance drive in an EV car. Drove a Tesla down from Minneapolis, essentially, all the way to Austin, Texas. And it had some fun learning moments that comes along with long distance driving in an EV car. But like, thankfully, like the weather was great. Everyone was really nice. It was really funny. As when we got to Kansas City, that's when we started to notice the Southern drawl come out, and then people asking us where we were from because they could hear that we were not from that location. So that was pretty fun, and like people are just so friendly, you know. And they actually think that when we say Minnesota, they do an accent like Canada. And it is funny. They're like, "Oh, you're from Minnesota, eh?" You know, they add the A's.
They add the A?
Yeah. And we just roll with it. It's just
don't they follow the lady on TikToks that beats her nice Minnesota feelings? They get the accent right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think we're pretty obvious that we're from Minnesota, but it was really interesting actually because we went through Waco, Texas, and I don't know, like, so the Magnolia line, like there's a kind of a infamous like farm to table, like rustic farmhouse aesthetic from like Chip and Joanna Gaines, I think their last name is, like it's in Target, and they have a restaurant actually in Waco, and it's the only restaurant that they have because they're from Waco. And it's a farm to table. Everything's made from scratch. And my friend really wanted to go there. So we finagled like the charging schedule, and we got a table to go there to eat. And it was really, really good. They make a really, I think, unique biscuit that I've really only had there, where like it's more, like sometimes you think of a Southern biscuit as like really uh like flaky and somewhat like really textured, right? Like it's got like the bumps on it, and it's kind of like a hamburger type of like shape, hamburger bun type of shape. But this biscuit was really different. It almost was like a cross between a biscuit and a pastry, with like a folded pastry dough. And they made everything from scratch. It was really good. And we had every like table around us was asking us where we were from and what we were doing and what our plans were. It was so funny. And they were so nice, and they had all these suggestions of like, where should we go? And they were just so proud. It's actually been really fun to see like people from Texas are very interested in what other people are doing in Texas, and like they want to show off like the best of like their state. So it was really cute, and everyone was wishing us all the best. And it was just like, I was like, wow, people are so talkative down here, just because in Minnesota, like you just don't get all of that social interaction where people kind of stay to their own table and don't kind of crosstalk, I guess. Not that anyone was being like rude in that way, but it was just really different, but in the best of ways. So, yeah. But now we're in Austin, and then we'll be in Austin. I'll be here till Friday, and then Friday I'm gonna fly over to LaGuardia in New York, grab a car, and then zip up to Greenwich, Connecticut for the weekend, and after that fly home. So I'm kind of bopping all over the place. So yeah,
you're on your American tour.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah,
you really are.
Oh, I will say also one more thing about the drive. Like really happy that we did the drive south, like through most of Iowa in the dark, because that's not like the most exciting state. But I will say, like south of like Kansas City, like there was some beautiful driving. And like Oklahoma, kind of like touch and go, but I will say I was really surprised at some of the beautiful like plains and vistas in Kansas that we went through. So that was probably one of the highlights like of like the scenic road trip that I was not expecting. And I haven't done this drive specifically before. So that was actually very nice. So maybe don't go skipping, through Kansas if you're on your way. But yeah.
I have a weird observation to do, because you're talking about this place. So obviously I've got Google Maps open, right?
Yeah.
Looking around these two cities and whatever. When you zoom in to the United States, like not very big, you get to see all the main roads, right? And the entirety of the country is littered by roads, like main roads, highways, and everything.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, wow, that is a road system. And then I go up north into Ontario, and it just shit disappears.
And that's why the 401 is the busiest freaking highway, because there's nothing else.
It's like, just like if you look like around like Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, just to see the difference between like London, Ontario, Brampton, Toronto, and just across the way into like bumfuck nowhere, New York and Pennsylvania. And it's just like, it explodes almost like a neural network of roads. And then up in Canada, it's like nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Like even around Ottawa and around Montreal, and you have to zoom in again to see like the smaller roads to start to see like a bit more of these roads. And then if you still go down to the United States, then those roads doubled. I'm just like, the difference is so stark.
Yeah. They have the population to support it though, right?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and then, just like our transit system is kind of like the backbone of commerce in the beginning, right? Like railroad, and then immediately went to cars. And
trucking,
trucking, and being able to get from A to B, and just like the highways that you can take, across the country. I mean, we basically just took 35 and a little bit of different flavors of 35 all the way down here. Like that was basically what it was.
The interstates are pretty well thought out, and
they're well maintained. Like
we didn't really
hit. We hit a little bit of road construction, but not like nothing too much. And we didn't really hit much traffic, and like the roads were really, like I said it really wasn't too much to complain about.
The more south you go too, the less they have to deal with the weather extremities like we do. So like, yeah. Cool. I had a chaotic week. Thursday was Halloween, and we did our thing. We were outside hanging out, and we did end up getting kids to come by because it was gorgeous out.
Oh.
And we were not having much luck because we're down like this pathway into the complex. But my neighbor decided to pull out like this board that he had and a can of spray paint. Also, he makes cosplay as well, and he has 3D printer and everything. So he had like a wicked costume on. And he took out spray paint and this board and wrote candy with an arrow with the most ghetto way ever. And then went down to the front of the alleyway and put it out front. And all these people started coming up. So we got to meet like neighbors and things like that too. So cute. This couple with their kid came by. They were dressed up as Team Rocket. And then the kid was dressed up as Charizard. As they're coming up, I was like, oh my gosh, you are in the right place. Because our neighbor has Pokemon cards. And they were like, oh, the amount of kids that freaked out as getting Pokemon cards in their trick-or-treat bag instead of candy was awesome.
Cute.
Yeah. So those Pokemon Halloween packs are worth it. They were definitely a hot commodity. And then the weekend, Mike and I have been thinking about painting. This whole condo needs to be painted. We've been in 5 years, and we got in here first, and it's really just like builder grade primer on the walls, and that it was definitely proved when we started painting, and it sucked all the paint up. But Saturday was essentially me moving everything out of the living room and cleaning everything and patching, and then all we did yesterday was paint. So like I'm hurting today. And then today I had an interesting day. We've been working on a project for a while. This is obviously coming out. This episode of the podcast is coming out on Thursday. So it's announced tomorrow and Tuesday, but we are launching, Bryan Adams Radio on iHeartRadio as a new digital station, that's hosted by Bryan. And I spent 2 hours with him today, hosting Zoom interviews for people. So I was running production on that this morning. So he was in Munich and I was here in Toronto. And he'd gotten off the airplane and was driving to his venue because he had a concert there in the evening. And it was between 3 and 5 p.m. for him and 9 a.m. for me. And it was quite the cool experience to get to hang out with a legend like Bryan Adams. Even if it was on Zoom for 2 hours. So
neat. That's cool.
Yeah.
Just another Monday for Leah.
Just another Monday. Yeah. And then continue to work all the rest of the afternoon. So if I'm a little exhausted in this podcast today, that is why. It also justifies why I haven't had a whole lot of time to play a lot of games, especially this weekend, because I had a plan. I had a plan to play Stardew Valley, but I just didn't get around to it. But before we get into what everybody's playing, because I'm sure we want to touch base on what Cat and Joelle are playing, which is Dragon Age, let's do Fantasy Critic stuff. Quick updates. So in the podcast league, the points locked in for Dragon Age, the Veilguard. 82 is the rating. So 12 points for Cat, minus 12 for Joelle, because she counterpicked it.
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi Brothership comes out this week. It is currently sitting at a 79 rating, but it's not out. Kat, that will be points for you, as long as it stays there.
Why is it so low for a Nintendo game? I feel like 79 is low.
But people might not be done yet, right? That's the thing. It's not out yet. So maybe that's just all the ratings they have so far. So I don't know.
Okay.
And then Joelle picked up a game, Rift of the Necrodancer. She picked that up on November 2nd. With a bid of $5.
$5, Bob.
$5. Over on the Community League, Albay had picked up Mario and Luigi Brothership, so waiting to get that 79 locked in. Offshore Meteor had Planet Coaster 2 on their list. That's sitting at 81. It's not out yet. The rating's not locked in. Then we've got the Dragon Age back and forth between Phoenix, who got the 12 points, but unfortunately minus 12 points for Pat. And Jessica Starr had acquired a game, The Spirit of the Samurai, with a bid of $13 on the 2nd of November. So that's where we stand in the leagues. On the numbers for the Community League, we're in. Darth Stridius is in first place. Offshore Meteor is in second. Ross is in third. Pat is in fourth. Albank is in fifth. I'm in sixth. Danesby Kingsby is seventh. Jessica Starr is in eighth. Zhangpao is in ninth. And Phoenix is in 10th. On the Community League, I don't think it's changed too much. It's me, then Joelle, then Cat. And that's where we are. I want to know how Dragon Age is going. So let's just cut to the chase. Catherine, Joelle, first round of thoughts.
If I may, I went in there knowing that this game could not live up to the expectations of Inquisition. Not because Inquisition is a better game, not because Inquisition is a perfect game, just because at this point, 10 years later, we're all in nostalgia mode. And we've probably forgotten all the bullshit that was included in this game, and we just remember the good.
Rose-colored glasses, as they say.
Exactly. So, but we got to put on the purple one because this game is fucking purple. You will love it, Leah. And it is not even a metaphor. It is not even a metaphor.
A lot of purple.
It is.
I like purple.
It is. They chose a color for this game, and it is purple. They chose accent for this game, and they decided sparklies. It is purple and sparkly.
Both those things.
It is literally like I thought you made the UI for this game. I was like, this is so purple and sparkly. It's all about
This is what I've been doing in my off time.
Yeah.
Purple sparkles.
Working on Dragon Age.
Gotcha, BioWare. I learned how to use Frostbite. Here I am.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, my first impression is the only downgrade we had in this game is in the story and in the narrative. Not in the sense that it's bad. I feel it might be slightly unpolished compared to Inquisition or previous Dragon Age game. And I don't know, the start of the story is very... I'm not going to spoil anything in this, by the way, but it's just like the first 5 minutes of the game are very abrupt. Because and if you've watched that Let's Play that they released, it's basically the first mission of the game, is that you've been hanging around with Varric and Harding. Varric, you should know from previous Dragon Age game, and Harding is from the Inquisition, for a while, for about 6 months. So you're just kind of like, as a player, you make this character, and then you're just like in on people that already know them, themselves. They've already worked together. They've already got quips and all that stuff. And it takes a while for you to be past the introduction to start having your area where people hang out and start having more party members and making a few of these side quests that you start to get the story of how you all know each other and why do you know each other and your past. Because in Inquisition, they basically gave you amnesia. They were like, be a blank slate. You've received this mark. You are marked by the devil. And it makes you the chosen one. It makes you Neo, and enjoy your game. And it takes until the end of the game for you to remember what happened and why you were there to get this mark. And I'm sorry to spoil a 10-year-old game. Once you find out, you're like, well, that was a bit anticlimactic. So I think for this one, they just went, y'all already know Varric. He's dragging you along. Go. So I thought it was a bit abrupt. But I got over it because it's Dragon Age and I get to play in a fantastic world and be a mage and shit like that. So, my TLDR so far, I would say it's very Dragon Age. I love it. I have no issues with the combat system. It's very similar to previous Dragon Age games. They've added some stuff. They've removed some stuff. The only thing I don't like is you only get 2 companions instead of 3. I don't know why they made that decision. The graphics, the art style, I didn't think I was going to like it, but I love it. they didn't go full realistic. I think they just upped the ante on the style they had before. And it's slightly cartoony. And I think they achieved that style better than World of Warcraft does. I like it personally. The costumes are so over the top. And I saw an article, I forget if it was Polygon or something, that but one of their journalists had theorized that a lot of this content was from the canceled Inquisition multiplayer game. And they figured that used to be MTX content, and that's why it was so like over the top or so recognizable. I'm like, maybe they kind of like reuse that direction. And my last point, for once, people, the hair is so good.
Really?
Like, I have long on my Canary, long flowy hair, like straight silky hair, all the way down to the mid of the back. It is flowy. It moves with my character. Kind of like I turn around quickly and it just kind of like goes over his shoulder and half there and it moves. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, people are talking about like the story being not as good. I'm like, maybe they put all that money on the groom artists because like,
Hair
and the
physics.
system. Yeah, no, it is remarkable. For once, like we have good hair. Amazing hair. On characters, like on a custom character that you can build.
Yep.
I could go on and on about the custom character builder. Like, I don't know why they did the triangle that mashes 3 head types and things like that. Like, I was fine with just a base and then like a choice of like 5 eyes and 5 noses and 5 lips. I don't know why they went with that system. I didn't fiddle with it too much because I found a base that I was okay with. So I was like, this face is pretty enough. But yeah, that's my TLDR of Dragon Age so far. Everybody that complains about the game, just because they've added like basically no romance is gender lock, and they've added options for your character to affirm themselves as either trans and or non-binary. So, and that's why people are review bombing the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That means nothing then.
Exactly.
They can
It's
review bomb all they
silly.
want.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's foolish.
It is. And this is just a system they put in place for the players to see themselves in the character they create in a game that is based around a character creator.
Yep.
And like, this is a BioWare game. This is Dragon Age. Like, it's even deeper, I feel, than Mass Effect. You make the entire appearance, and you can choose the personality depending on your replies, and your choices affect your story, your bonds, and everything.
Yep.
So this is just for some people to see themselves in this game. If this doesn't apply to you, just make your fucking buff dude and leave us alone.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. Or don't buy the game. EA doesn't need your money. They got FIFA money. Fuck you.
Kat, how are you playing?
Xbox.
Series X.
Yes. Big Xbox.
Joelle, how are
Fridge.
you playing?
On the Ally.
Right, you
that
wanted to
going?
test it.
So I feel like I'm a little behind in starting because I bought the game Thursday morning when it was available. Like, I bought it and I thought I could download it right away before I had to like go into work, but it wasn't available for download like right away in the morning. I had to wait. And so
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but I was talking with people who were buying on Steam, and they didn't have the pre-download. I had it on console.
okay. Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't do that.
I don't know why I couldn't just download the game right away on the 31st. I don't know if it was like an embargo or release thing, but I had to wait until a certain time. And so I didn't have time to download the game on my Ally until like I got to the first hotel. And of course, it's just like hotel Wi-Fi. So I was incrementally downloading the game as we stopped at the hotels.
Oh
and then
my
when
God.
when we finally got to Austin and we got onto like residential Wi-Fi, I was able to finish the download in like 15 minutes. But so the game had been downloading essentially for like 3 days. My ally. And I haven't had too much time to dip into it just because we've been kind of running around, and I just get lost in the character creator.
Yeah.
Like it is just so fun, and it's so like interesting and dynamic, and the sky is the limit to kind of what you want to do and who you want to be. And so I finally just had to be like, I just need to pick, and I need to get like going, and to know that like I'm probably going to do more than one playthrough, and I can choose differently next time. So I had
to do the same.
Yeah, like I just went with a human warrior because I was like, I just kind of want to play the game and not get tripped up in so many things. And he is a beautiful man, and I went with the big hunk with the big butt, and I put the balls all the way to the side because
the cake slider.
I did. I was like, oh,
I did the same. I did the same. I'm like, no matter which body type I pick and the gender identity of this character, that cake slider is going all the way to 100.
Is that what they call it? The cake slider?
Yeah. No, really, it says back or whatever, or butt. I don't know.
Bulge,
there's the bulge for the front, but there's one for the back.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
So that I'm putting
the butt.
that thing.
It's the all butt the way. Slider. All the way. Yeah, they were both all the way.
Rook's gonna have back. All my
that's
Rooks.
True.
All of them.
There's a lot of work each end's got to do. So I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
So we did that, and I'm just kind of in the middle, I think, of the tutorial, and I put the graphics. Okay, and then the ally, man, the battery lasts like 2 minutes. So
like
I
gotta Tesla.
Like the Tesla. I'm very limited by my technology, but so I gotta be plugged in while I play it, which kind of limits my locations of like where I can like physically play with the ally, because I have to just basically be hardwired in. And then I do have my graphics on not hot; they're on medium kind of settings. My ray tracing is off. And kind of not like sacrificing much, but just not throwing it on ultra. But I do have some, for the most part, it looks fantastic. It's running really well. The cutscenes flow seamlessly. I've had no issues like downloading the game, getting the game started, all that stuff. I will say, as I'm running through the beginning part, I am dropping frames when a lot of enemies spawn in. And it's just me getting used to the controls also on the ally with targeting. And because I'm a warrior, I have a sword and shield. And so like getting used to like the shield mechanic with the sword and all that kind of stuff is a little, I just kind of need to get used to it, I think. But I'm very happy so far with my experience on the ally. And I guess I don't see a reason why I couldn't just like keep playing the game on the ally, unless I want a bigger screen, which I probably will like once I get home. But like right now, I'm very happy like with it. And it's so cool. The spatial audio works so well. So like if I'm ahead of Varric and I'm like running ahead of him and I turn the camera, the noise like goes from side to side through the speakers on the ally, which is really cool. So like if Varric's on one side of me, it comes from one speaker, and then if he moves to the other side of me, it goes to the other speaker. And so that works really, really well. And so like the graphics, like it all looks great. I think it's just it can maybe be a bit much, but it's still not as bad as the Switch, if I'm being honest. So if you have a handheld, like it's gonna run. It seems like it's gonna run just fine.
Because like the combat is very VFX heavy, right? That's usually what slows down everything. Because you have like, especially in the beginning, like I'm a mage. And then at one point, Nev joins you, and she's a mage. And I'm throwing fire and electricity. She's throwing ice. And then I got Harding in the background that sometimes does like special attacks with special effects. And then you're fighting demons that also don't just show up and swing at you. They need to have like throw necrotic magic with effects and stuff like that. So I was just like, I forget the setting I put on the Xbox. I think I was like, just make the game pretty, please. So I didn't notice the frame rates, but I might have it locked at 30 FPS. So that way, like if there's a big combat with a lot of VFX, like it doesn't slow down because it's just like, here we are, like you lock.
Yeah.
I think people trying to play at 60 frames per second would get annoyed. Honestly.
Yeah.
Unless they got a beefy
I think so.
computer.
But it's not a 60 FPS game. It's
No.
it's a single player. Like,
It's more for the graphics.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I love the art style. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the art style.
Yeah.
But I actually think that was a really smart choice, and I'm really excited to see how it continues to evolve as we go. And like Kat said, like everything is done so well. Like the hair is fantastic. My character has long blue hair, and it is gorgeous. And just like it is really well done. And so I think that helps like ground the art style because it's done like so flawlessly, which doesn't make it seem like kid or like diminish the value of it. It really like seems to fit. It's almost like this should have been the way the game was the whole time.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's evolved to like what it should be. And so I'm really enjoying it so far. Like I said, I'm not very far in, but now that like I'm I'm going to be able to get in and to play a bit more, that I'm past creating my hunk of meat that's going to take me through the story. So that's what I'm excited to continue to forge through and to play it. But I think it was worth the effort to get it downloaded on my Ally. So yeah,
I think I'm gonna have to go watch some Let's Plays of this because it might be one of those ones where it's like everybody's playing and I'm like, should I try this? I don't know. I've never played a Dragon Age, so
Inquisition was my first one. And honestly, it's because I got into these types of RPGs late. I got into when I got the PlayStation 3. So that like Skyrim is my first Elder Scroll. Inquisition was my first Dragon Age. Assassin's Creed 2 was my first Assassin's Creed. So they can be played standalone. You can watch a YouTube saying the story so far, or you can play it. They do a great job, especially for Veilguard. I feel like one of the reasons people like the story or the writing or the narrative lifts is because there's a lot of exposition. And I think it's probably because they were expecting the new wave of Dragon Age players to come in. Yeah. With this one.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of people that suddenly bought Baldur's Gate 3 could easily transition into Dragon Age. So you can play it and just kind of like discover the world as you play. The world will be explained to you, or you can do like I did when I played Inquisition, as I just found a video that explained a 10-minute expose of what the previous games were about, because they do bring back characters. Like, and this is not a spoiler, she was announced, but like the Witch of the Wilds, Morrigan, which is a character from the first game, is in this game. So, you know, it's like for you, it'd be like, oh, just a cool girl in an outfit, like looks like a badass femme witch. Like, who is she? Any kind of Dragon Age fan is like, it's fucking Morrigan. So,
yeah. And
but
I really, go ahead, Kat.
But I was just saying, like, if it's not your type of gameplay or your type of game, they're great games for Let's Play because the story is great. So
yeah, I think I might check it out and just see, because usually that's what happens. I find a streamer I like, or hopefully it's someone within my stuff. Same with Reef and what's that other one that just came out? Like
Persona.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about picking that up too, because like, you know, Persona, I love Persona. So yeah, there's lots of games to play, that's for sure. But I'm just playing Sandrock.
Yeah, but like also it's because it's an EA game, it will eventually trickle down to EA Play.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I'm not 100% sure what's going on right now holiday wise, and I know Mike's working a lot. So like I remember like there's like last year I played a lot of Persona. I think the year before that, I played through Witcher 3. Like, there's usually, like, a heavy game that I take on during that time, since I've got a lot of time to myself. Coral Island, I played a lot of that last year, too. Maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was, like, 3 years ago I did Witcher, then I did Persona, then I did Coral Island. So like I usually have a big chunky game over the holiday season to kind of get me through because I've got a lot of free time, right? So
I think Dragon Age would be a good one if you don't have another big one. Like that or ReFantazio
yeah,
would be good choices. It really depends, but like I think you're going to love the aesthetic. Alone, the aesthetic of Dragon Age, Veilguard specifically, because every game has their own aesthetic, right? Inquisition was very green. Very like I remember like it was about the Fade, and it was the Fade and the Veil, and it was all very green, and those fissures you had to close, and the power, it was all green VFX, and this one is all purple and sparkles. And definitely more magic based. Like they talk way more about magic. They talk way more about the elves and the old magic and how the world came to be and why the dwarves are not magical and everything. And it's just, it's completely different, but and the costumes are so beautiful. Like it's just such a fantastical world. Like if you're looking for something to just be somewhere else during Christmas, yeah, I think you'll love it. And if the combat system is too much, there's always the option of going fully tactical, which is almost like turn-based, like in the D&D games. Okay. And there's putting it on super easy. Like I'm playing on normal. It's been okay, but like I said, I'm back to playing games on normal because For Honor gave me better reaction time, and I can parry now in any game. So now I'm like, this is easy. Once you parry, this is easy.
Once I get to see what the combat's like, I don't even know what to expect there. Because like I said, I've never played a Dragon Age. So yeah, figure it out. All right, let's go on a walk down memory card lane. Each week, the team will have to guess a historical game that would have released during the time of this episode's airing. We'll start with its release date, and then I'll give hints about the game for the team to attempt to guess what it is. As always, ladies, talk it out. This game released on November 8th of 2019.
November 8th, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-pandemic.
Before times.
Just before it started in December.
We knew no better.
Yeah.
That's right.
November.
Different time than I'm trying to think. I feel like in November I was starting like to really get back into like my like hardcore gaming time. So I'm trying to remember like what I was playing.
It's also like a time where big games come out.
Did I? That's when I got a PS5. I think I got a. I think
they weren't out.
No, that was the following. That was the following.
Yeah, following year.
Yeah, that was the okay. That's what it was. All right. I don't have any guesses right now.
Me neither.
Okay. Here's a hint. The game's core theme is connection, a new game genre to the creator, connecting players worldwide through gameplay mechanics.
Connection.
Through gaming mechanics. Connection through gaming mechanics.
And the first time for this game's creator, you say?
A new genre according to the creator.
A new genre according to... Is it Among Us?
No.
A new genre. Is it World of Warcraft?
Nope.
That came out way before.
Well, I didn't... I mean, I just thought...
Oh, you mean like the X-Pack?
Like a blanket...
Oh.
So I threw it out there. Yeah. I don't know.
Me neither. I'll take the next hint, please.
The game was developed using Guerrilla Games' Decima engine, also used for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh.
Okay.
Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm still not sure. Cat, do we think it was
Is it a guerrilla game? Because usually those are proprietary. So.
No, it's not a guerrilla game.
No. Oh.
No. It was a big news story when this came out.
Really?
Oh no.
Do you want another hint?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Players must carefully balance their load while traversing various terrains, factoring in weight and stability to avoid stumbling.
Death Stranding.
You got it.
Yeah.
There it is. I knew exactly. Now it all comes. Now I'm like, oh, duh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There it is.
November
All right. Yeah,
8th, 2019. Death Stranding release. The game's core theme is connection, a new game genre according to Hideo Kojima, connecting players worldwide through gameplay mechanics. Players must carefully balance their load while... That sounds so weird. Players must carefully balance their load while traversing various terrains, factoring in weight and stability to avoid stumbling. The game was developed using Guerrilla Games' Decima engine, also used Horizon Zero Dawn. There was that whole thing of Kojima being over there with Herman Holst.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The storyline combines elements of sci-fi, philosophy, and metaphysics, exploring themes of life, death, and the afterlife. Players can leave items, structures, and signs in the world for other players to find and use, creating a unique form of online interaction. The game features BBs, which help the creator sense hostile supernatural enemies known as BTs. The BBs are the babies in the bottles, and BTs are the spooky arms that come out of the ground. Desolate landscapes are filled with visual clues that tell story of a fallen civilization, and the game features cameo appearances by personalities like Conan O'Brien, film director Guillermo del Toro, and game developer Jeff Neely, all as in-game characters. That's Death Stranding.
Wow.
Cool. That was great. That was tricky. As soon as that all makes sense. That hint about connection, that was good. That was wisely placed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I specifically didn't say platforms and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to... You guys usually get it within a few hints, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Cool. That was a good one. All right. Let's take a break and go to the news. It's news time! Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Catherine, what's the story around that one? That one just came out not too long ago.
Yeah. So, we had umpteenth discussion about the acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Xbox because of Game Pass and everything that meant and the Call of Duty franchise. And guess what? Call of Duty Black Ops 6 breaks records for Game Pass subscriptions. So the franchise as a whole has surpassed 500 million units sold. So it is the first Activision Blizzard title to launch day and date on Game Pass. Called it. I mean...
like we thought any different.
Yeah. Like, this is my shocked face.
Shocked Pikachu face. So there's a TLDR article on it on GameIndustry.biz, but they have a quote from CEO Satya Nadella that says, "This speaks to our strategy of meeting gamers where they are by enabling them to play more games across the screen they spend their time on."
Yeah, because they had an increased unit sales on PlayStation and Steam, too. 60% year over year.
Exactly.
So, people want to play Black Ops.
Yeah, that is a bonkers number. Like, say that again.
Yeah.
60%.
Year over year.
Yeah.
Of PlayStation and Steam. These are
lot.
non-Game Pass platforms.
Yep.
So yeah, Call of Duty is still the massive franchise that it is. And you can tell that they bought Activision Blizzard for that. And speaking of printing money, Pokemon trading card game coming to mobile.
Move
over Magic the Gathering.
I started playing it.
Yeah? How are you liking it?
Very entry level. I had forgot it came out, and then I think it was actually Halloween. I was in my one-on-one with one of my team members, and he's like, the Pokemon TCG game's out. And I'm like, oh shit, it is! So I started downloading it, and didn't get to really play much at all. I'm just poking around, just opening packs, and doing things. I think I can start battling now. But yeah, that's as far as I got. I need to watch some YouTube videos on that one too, because right now it's just like, ooh, open pack, see cards, move on to what's next. So yeah.
The quick article on Polygon says that they've made $12 million already.
Oh my god.
Not surprised.
That is as of November 4th.
Oh.
And on November 1st, the official Pokemon TCG Pocket account tweeted that they already had 10 million players worldwide.
Wow. The chokehold that Pokemon has on our planet.
Surprised.
No, I'm surprised it took them this long. After looking at what Magic the Gathering has been doing for years in the digital space, and now having stuff like Altered come in to do something else and to also be successful when they could just show up with their like 10, 15 years of content. I mean, has Yu-Gi-Oh done this? I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh would also be a license to print money online.
Yeah. I mean, the Pokemon trading card game has never been bigger than it is right now. And I feel like I hear people popping up saying that they're playing it or playing the digital game or whatever, like all over the place that I never would have before. I don't know if it's just like in the zeitgeist right now or what's going on, but yeah, it's like it's uber popular right now.
Yeah, it feels like people that never got to play it growing up can finally play it on their phone.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, the other app. So the difference. Okay, let me tell you the difference between the two apps. So one is Pokémon TCGP. And the other one is Pokemon. What is the actual name of this game? It's Trading Card Game Live. So the Trading Card Game Live, I gotta say, has been helpful for me to learn how to play the trading card game, because I watched the video, Mike and I tried to play, but like you just run into cases where you're just not. I'm not 100% of what the rules are here, but when you're playing the live game, it physically won't let you do things if you're not supposed to be able to do it. So it really does teach you how to play. And I do find that the matchmaking is pretty good. Like, it doesn't put me in with somebody who's going to like kick my ass because they're like, they've been playing much longer than me. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can get some more time in with this game. I just need to sit down and just poke around with it. Unfortunately, my best time to do that is when I'm on the subway. But the subway in Toronto has internet signal only certain places, and it's spotty at best. I have a hard time even like flipping through TikTok on it. So yeah, it's not a spot where you can really play that easily, but god damn do the cards look nice in the game. Like when you pull one of those like full screen ones, Steven Saylor has a great video up on his stuff where he got a Charizard, like one of those full art screen ones.
Yeah.
And like when you get the ones with the like parallax artwork in it, and you can turn it side to side and it looks like it's a little 3D.
Yeah,
it's the coolest looking shit. Like the art is just so damn good.
Yeah, I have
and they made the iridescent stuff and the holographic cards look so real. Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
saw somebody in a Discord post that they got a Gyarados, and this is a screenshot of what you're talking about, and I was like, yo, they knew what they were doing.
Yo, go watch Steven's TikTok. Let me see if I can find it while we're talking.
Yeah.
See if I can find it.
Yeah, I'll add it to the show notes so people can add it.
Yeah, I'm looking for him here now. Blind Gamer Steve Saylor. I'm pretty sure he has it as one of the top of his TikToks. Because, yeah, it was just... And the genuine reaction of the people while he pulls it is just... All right, I'm going to put it in the show notes.
Yeah, because it was a live. He did it during a live.
One of our friends were just streaming it or recording him as he was playing, because I think it was like his first time doing it.
Okay.
Here, Cat, I just put it there. Go take again.
Awesome. And speaking of mobile, Stardew Valley 1.6 update across all platforms.
Ooh,
Yes.
Yay.
So that's what I was hoping to play the weekend, but now I need to pick that up again. So oof, there's so much in this thing.
It's just, I haven't played through any of the latest content update. At this point, I need to start a new farm and just discover.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
There's a farm now that, because I was watching some YouTube videos on it, there's a farm now that gives you chickens right off the get-go.
Oh, really?
I want to do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what
I want
I
to do
need.
that.
That's
so,
what I need. Yeah.
I just want a different way to play the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoy that about like some of the mods and things, but obviously if I'm going to play in Switch, it's not going to happen. But yeah, there's a whole new like event that happens in the desert. Let me see here. Let's just read through some of the highlights. Let me see if I can pull out the highlights right off the bat. New festivals and events. The Desert Festival is a 3-day event in spring, which can be accessed after the bus is repaired. 2 mini fishing festivals, Trout Derby and Squid Fest. New environmental event in the summer. They have that in like quotes.
So like weather.
There's a mastery system, so you know how you can like go up to like level 10 with your things and stuff. There's a mastery system on top of that. Grants powerful perks and items. New farm type. That's what I was talking. Meadowlands farm. It's chewy blue grass that animals love. You'll also start with a coop and 2 chickens.
Yes.
That's what I want to do.
That's what I
Because I always
want.
find that I think about those at the very end.
Yeah.
And don't get into the farm. I want to do the inverse and play around with the
Yeah,
inverse.
I usually I like to be a rancher more than an actual like botanist.
Farmer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. New NPC dialogues. I won't get into all the things of that. You can get multiple pets now after getting max hearts with your starter pet.
Yeah.
A new world map for Ginger Island, visible when visiting the island. The world map now shows your actual position within the world in real time. Pets that you love will sometimes give you gifts. NPCs have winter outfits. Festivals now have map and dialogue changes every second year. Added a golden Joja parrot, which you can pay to find all remaining golden walnuts on Ginger Island. That is nice. Let's see. New prize machine in Lewis's house. A bookseller now comes to town twice a season.
Ooh.
Mystery boxes.
Ooh.
A big tree with a quest line, which ultimately gives you some new neighbors.
Yes.
New crops. 4 new crops.
Ooh.
Carrots, summer squash, broccoli, and powder melon. Powder melon, which can't be purchased at the store, and 2 new giant crops.
Oh.
Okay. I want to do summer squash.
4 new home renos. Dining room, attic, expanded corner room, and cubby. A whole slew of new items. Big chest, dehydrator, mushroom log, bait maker, heavy furnace, fish smoker, text signs, anvil, mini fridge, statue of blessings. The list is long.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my
Holy
God.
cow.
This, there's a lot.
25 new hats.
Well, sold.
Important.
That's what I needed.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go, and there's a whole bunch of visual improvements, a whole bunch of multiplayer changes, balance changes. I'm still scrolling on this really epic list. Quality of life changes, other changes, gameplay fixes. Yeah. NPC fixes. Yeah, I'm just gonna go play Stardew Valley after we're done recording. Are we done recording? Because I want to go play.
Round
You
in the
can
corner.
be. I want to
Yeah.
go play Veilguard.
All right.
This is.
But here we are.
This is a hefty. This is chonky. This is good stuff. If you're
Yeah.
a Stardew player, update your game. Holy shit.
Yeah. Free. It's
Free.
freaking free.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know PC
God bless
players
them.
have had this for a while now. I have literally been waiting so I can have it on console because this is my favorite way to play. Is handheld for this game. It is the perfect perfect game to play handheld. And yeah, I'll come back next week with vibes, especially starting as a rancher to kick it off with my chickens.
Yeah.
The hardest thing to do is to figure out what I'm going to name my animals, though. Yeah, I usually just roll the dice.
Yeah, so
With that, ladies, I think this closes out our podcast for this week because I think we want to go play games instead of talking about games.
Yeah.
We want to go play games.
That's right.
Right?
exactly.
Right. As always, check out the show notes on girlsongames.ca for links to all the stories mentioned in this episode, including the TikTok from Steve where he pulls that Charizard. Thank you, Catherine, for putting that together for us each and every week. If you are listening to this podcast and you have the power to rate and review it where you are consuming it, because some platforms let you do that, it'd be much appreciated if you could do so. Why? It helps us move us up in the rankings, pushes us up in any, notes or things like that, makes us more discoverable. And if you've got comments and you leave them, we read them, and it helps us build our show. As always, I want to thank the crew for being on the show with me this week. Time for them to tell you where you can follow them online. Catherine, where can people find you?
Yeah, so talk Dragon Age Veilguard, CSDSBINS, CSDBA on X, Thread, Blue Sky, Instagram, or straight up in the Girls on Games Discord. We have a game section a forum where you can go and we do threads per games. Mm-hmm. You can join us in there where we have a bit more of a spoilery discussion so it doesn't get out of into the main Discord. So we can be as fangirly as we want. So come join us.
That's the truth. Joelle, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at JoelleLauren87 and on X at gamer_comfy. But always hanging out and chatting it up in the Girls on Games Discord. I finally am now playing Dragon Age, so I'm going to hop into that specific channel. You should come and say hi and join us if you're playing the game or if you just want to hang out.
Cool. And I am Leah Jew on most social media platforms, but of course you want to know everything there is to know about Girls on Games. You can track us down at The Girls on Games on X and Facebook, Girls on Games on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, discord.me/Girls on Games to continue this conversation and more. But of course, if you ever want to know anything at all, you can track it down at our home base. That's our website, girlsongames.ca. Thank you, Kat. Thanks, Joelle. It's been another lovely week of video games. I'm going to go play Stardew Valley. Who are we kidding? Bye!
Bye!
Bye!